The 16 new survivors think they have days to prepare for the game, but we're shocking them and tossing them overboard with just the clothes on their backs.
I hope you're wearing something under that.
They'll have no warning.
Of course I have see-through underwear on.
No supplies.
Whatever you have on, and that's it.
No kidding.
When it comes to twists, Survivor wrote the book.
It's the wildest Survivor yet. Don't miss the 90-minute premiere of Survivor Pearl Island, CBS Thursday at 8, 7 Central.
Every season of Survivor is a story, but sometimes that story can be told over the course of multiple seasons. In the case of Rupert Boneham, we have an instant Survivor legend who played so many times, combined with surprise appearances and even competing on The Amazing Race. To this day, when talking to the most casual person about Survivor, they only know a few names: Boston Rob, Parvati Shallow, and of course, Rupert Boneham. Let's begin in Season 7, Pearl Islands.
39 days, 16 people, 1 survivor.
Rupert Boneham, a 39-year-old troubled teens mentor from Indianapolis, Indiana, was a castaway on Survivor's 7th season, Survivor Pearl Islands. He was such a popular figure that by the time the season was finished, everyone was chanting Rupert and wanted more. So how does this burly, bearded man become such a large figure in Survivor when the show had already started to die off in popularity? Let's find out. The introduction to any character on Survivor can tell you a lot about what to expect from them for the rest of their time on the season, and for Rupert, his introduction happens right away, as this season, Jeff Probst explains how, unlike in past seasons when the survivors knew they were starting the game and had some things to bring with them to their camp, this time, surprise, we're starting early.
Those suitcases, so carefully packed with essential outdoor clothing, worthless. The only clothes they're going to be taking are the clothes on their back.
Everyone here is dressed for a photo shoot, but there is no photo shoot. The game is beginning now with the clothes on their back and an extra pair of tennis shoes.
He says the game starts, you're taking nothing. I was like, oh.
Rupert is selected to be on the Drake tribe, and before we can hear a word from him, Krista, who is also on the Drake tribe, tells us how he seems to be super cool and looks like he's strong as an ox. Unlike past seasons, both tribes have been tasked with trading and bartering in a local village to get supplies and food for the 39 days in this game. Rupert unfortunately wore his dress jeans to the photo shoot, and swimming in those tires him out, so he decides to safeguard his tribe's supplies and takes a break.
The other team, Morgan, came up, set their stuff down next to us, and all left. Pirates pillage. Pirates steal. Pirates take advantage. If they were going to be silly enough to put it right next to me, I'm going to put it in my thing. There was my stealing. I stole for the Drake. Take them. You know, did anything.
Whose are these?
Pirated. We are pirates. So we pirated.
I couldn't believe it. I looked around. I mean, it's the first few minutes of the game. I didn't really understand the game. I couldn't let an opportunity like that pass me by. So I'm looking around and I'm trying to hide it even from the camera guys that I'm going to steal all their stuff. When I saw the other tribe coming around, I had them all hidden. The insoles, the little girly shoes. I don't know how I ended up with mismatched shoes. I was trying to give them way too quick. I gave them all the little Johnny Rotten. And he brought back supplies too.
After bartering the Morgan stuff, the Drake tribe does really well with Sandra at the helm. She wheels and deals like she was born to do this and takes no crap from anyone. Upon arriving at the Drake beach, Sean and Burton are already getting under people's skin, namely Sean. Rupert observes that if they don't stop this, then they're gonna be hated by everyone.
One of the first items on our to-do list when we got here was build a shelter. And we did that. Actually, it looked pretty good.
I was really tired. I mean, just exhausted. It was like, for the love of God, I mean, I just wanted to breathe for a second. I was like, does anybody have water?
Burton opened up a coconut, and he shared the coconut milk with only Sean and Michelle. I gave Krista the look, and I said, did they offer you any coconut milk? And she was like, no, and I wanted some.
Refreshing.
Sean and Burton are a little out there in their leadership. I just think they need to be a little careful with that because they've already alienated some people.
We're a strong little team. But the dynamic duo there that are posturing for the lead role need to be a little more careful because they're going to make everybody hate them.
It is now nighttime and the booze they got from the village is being passed around. Fairplay has gotten his fair share and thinks he is the life of the party, but it's clear that not everyone thinks this. Rupert observes how Fairplay reminds him a lot of the troubled kids he mentors, with having their priorities in these places and these things that don't really matter at all, and they just speak without thinking.
John, he reminds me of my boys who I mentor who just pop off stupid stuff. You know, talk about getting some honey or smoking something, drinking something.
I really can't stand him. He talks too much crap all night long.
Rupert has had enough of his wet dress jeans just chafing him and decides to make a bold move by wearing a handmade skirt instead. Krista helps him with this, and while it does seem silly, it actually makes Rupert much more approachable and makes him subconsciously to the rest of us seem like less of a threat, since how can you take this Blackbeard looking guy seriously when he's wearing a skirt?
I'm wearing my dress jeans. Suckers were thick and hard and heavy. And them pants killed my crotch. Where nice wet denim rubs for a day and a half and just starts eating that skin away. That is a skirt.
Half of her dress is now a skirt for Michelle, and the other half is a skirt for Blackbeard.
I got the little teasing and laughing with the girls as we made it, and I put it on, and I look really silly. It's done. I'm wearing a dress. I'm never gonna put them pants back on.
One of the items the Drake tribe has is the Hawaiian sling.
Burton had the spear at first, and next thing I know, he cocks it. And all of a sudden, we got a fish.
Which inspires Rupert to not only catch a fish, but catch a fish for each member of the Drake tribe. Now, he does end up catching a lot of fish, which makes everyone happy, except Sean, who seems to be, well, a little bit jealous. Rupert's strategy for the season is to be the caretaker and to make himself invaluable to the tribe. This does seem like a great strategy in the pre-merge portion of the game, but he will need to evolve it when the merge hits in order to survive. Drake ends up winning immunity and therefore doesn't have to go to tribal council. This premiere takes great advantage of having an extra long episode. We get to get a good grasp on who many of the characters are, and especially Rupert as a person and what his strategy will be this season. He seems primed to make the merge, but he will need to get into a strong alliance to make it even further in the game, as being the caretaker and catching fish will only get you so far. Episode 2 begins and Rupert is loving life on Drake with his other tribe mates. His overall positive attitude is just simply contagious. However, trouble is afoot as the Hawaiian sling is already starting to get a bit loose with its head, so you have to be careful with it. Now he passes this on to Burton since Burton is planning on going out to fish, and Burton acknowledges that, yeah, it's a little loose. I'll pay closer attention to that.
Make sure that's always tight, and when you're fishing, check that and make sure that's tight. If we lose that,
I try to check in between.
The Drake tribe wins a reward, and as a part of the special pirate theme season, if your tribe wins a reward, then you get to loot one item from the other tribe each time you win a reward.
The winning tribe will also get to loot, that is steal, one item from the other tribe's camp.
So, Fairplay says they should take something that would really hurt Morgan, like the tarp, and Rupert says not to take the tarp because he doesn't want to hurt them.
If they have more than one water jug, and if all they have is a tarp, it would be good to hurt them by taking the tarp.
However, Sandra is ruthless, and when she goes over to the Morgan camp, she tries to find a watering bucket, but instead takes the Morgan's tarp, and they don't like her at all, especially Dara.
Sandra came over and she was just, I don't know, that whole drive is a bunch of
Shot the spear, and the tip ended up coming off, and either got lodged under a rock or is swirling around somewhere in the tide.
Just like Rupert warned him not to do.
He could not even tell me where he lost it at. So I go out and I start doing a grid pattern. You're looking at a general area that's 5 or 6 football fields.
In the ocean!
Drake ends up winning immunity again and are on a roll with 3 challenge wins in a row. Episode 3 starts with the idea of hunting for the treasure chest. As it turns out, there is a treasure chest hidden at each camp, Drake and Morgan. If you win reward, you get 1 clue to that treasure chest, with getting up to 3 clues as the max. Drake is currently sitting on 1 clue and decides that now is high time to look. Rupert simply hopes that there's a big bottle of rum in there for Blackbeard himself. They don't end up finding it, as the 1 clue they have is just by itself too vague and doesn't really specify which area they should be searching. Thankfully for them though, they win the next reward challenge and get the 2nd clue to the treasure chest, but they also get to steal yet another item from the Morgan's camp.
We'll do the looting tomorrow morning. Morgan, expect another visit from Drake. Then we're gonna take 1 item.
They all decide to steal to Morgan's 1 water pot that they use to boil the water, which Rupert is initially against, but remembers it's the pirate's way to steal and gives in to his tribe's evil desire. But it turns out that thankfully the Morgan tribe has 2 watering pots and Drake just thought they had 1, so it ends up being not as evil as initially thought. At the immunity challenge, each tribe has to keep 1 member of their tribe from hitting the ocean by holding them up through like this rope mechanism. It all ends up coming down to Rupert and Austin.
This is it, down to the big man. Remember guys, we're gonna make this harder as we go along.
While Austin looks ripped, he was just talking about how he wanted to quit back in episode 2, so his mind is not quite all there. This ends up working out for Rupert as he beats Austin and wins immunity for his tribe, and now Drake is on a 5 challenge win streak.
Don't quit guys, fight.
Come on, Austin.
Oh, you got it.
You got it, you got it.
Boom. Austin can't hang. Rupert wins immunity for Drake.
As of now, it isn't super clear who's aligned with who within the Drake tribe, with the exception of Bert and Sean seeming super close. It will take this tribe going to tribal to finally draw some lines in the sand. Also, the Morgan tribe votes out Lil at their 3rd tribal council, the Boy Scout troop leader, which is insignificant for this part of the story, but will matter later on.
Lil, the tribe has spoken. Try that again. They don't want you to go.
Episode 4 arrives and Drake is getting restless. They have gone almost 2 weeks in this game and no one from the tribe has gone home. And some people are wearing on other people's nerves.
Then what's your problem?
I'm saying that a little more help would be appreciated. I've been working for 3 hours. This is the first time I stopped working to complain about it.
I think because we've won so many challenges, it's starting to get annoying because we really want somebody to leave.
Namely Sean and Burton. Why? Well, apparently, what you're about to witness is such a big deal, they included it in a promo for this week's episode, which I will show before the actual event.
Rupert is America's favorite castaway, but his own tribe is taunting him.
The pretty boy jock idiots all gotta pick on me.
How much will he take?
I'll snap your necks like the damn chicken!
Don't miss an all-new Survivor, CBS Thursday.
Dude, just whatever you do, say no to crack.
Kill you!
Some plumbers wear skirts.
I'll kill you!
Some plumbers wear skirts.
Bitch, snap your necks like the damn chicken!
You know, it's like high school. The pretty boy jock-ass idiots all gotta pick on me.
Burton and Sean never leave Rupert alone about his skirt. I mean, don't keep talking about something that keeps bothering somebody. If you know it bothers somebody, why don't you just shut up after a while?
You know you're the prettiest one in the skirt around here.
Krista, on the other hand, loves Rupert's work ethic and how he wears a skirt and sews with no shame. Drake now has all 3 clues to find their treasure chest, and after a search, they do find it. And a lot of the things are moldy, and there's just like this general gross stench coming from the treasure chest. It didn't keep out the water very well. There's just a general disappointment about all this, except that there is candy in there that's still good, and there's canned food. Later on, Burton talks to Rupert about his idea to throw the immunity challenge so they can vote out either Krista or Trish.
As soon as there's a merge, the strongest people are going to be the first people to go. I know right now Rupert and myself are the biggest threats in our tribe.
Between John, Trish, and Sandra, if they do really start putting it together, hell yeah, they should get rid of us now. We don't need to win any more immunities. At some point, we should lose. We can do it, but we have to get rid of Krista, and we have to get rid of Trish. And we have to do it soon.
When Bert comes to me and says, we're gonna get rid of some of our Drakes, As soon as he said that, I wanted to smack him and say, you know, traitor. If this was a pirate culture, he'd already be dead.
As it turns out, Rupert's alliance of Krista and Sandra want to throw the challenge to get rid of Burton, which Rupert is okay with, but only if he's sitting out the challenge, because there's no way he is going to be in the challenge and consciously throw it.
In that, I can sit out on a challenge. I already told them that if I'm in a challenge, there's no way in hell that I would lose.
Now, it's good on him to concede to what the majority of his tribe wants and to not be going against the grain here, but he is right that they shouldn't throw a challenge yet in case of a tribe swap. Drake successfully, or unsuccessfully, throws the challenge and gives Morgan their first victory. However, there is a twist. Morgan gets to kidnap one member of the Drake tribe until after the next reward challenge. They pick Rupert and he avoids tribal council, where Drake does go and vote out Burton.
Burton. Travis spoken. It's time for me.
Episode 5 begins with Rupert temporarily on the Morgan tribe. He helps them rebuild and relocate their shelter, along with catching them some fish. While this does shine a favorable light on him in their eyes, it also gives the Morgan tribe a new life that they didn't have because they were previously down in the dumps from all their losses. Rupert then tells us that his observances of Morgan have shown them to be a mess, and this coincides with everything we have seen from them all season. While Rupert is at the Morgan tribe, back at Drake, Trish openly worries that Rupert could possibly be giving them information, even if it's unintentional. No matter who got kidnapped, I feel like this worry would come up, as living with another tribe for multiple days is definitely a worrying prospect for your original tribe. However, it hurts Rupert strategically, even though there's really nothing he could do to prevent it. In a way, Rupert is bonding with the others, but he has never shown giving them any tribal information that would hurt Drake. However, Andrew Savage and Rhino love him for catching all of this fish.
Rupert's been a godsend. He's an absolute workaholic. Work ethic is impeccable.
Probably the smartest thing this tribe ever did was get a hold of Rupert.
Thank you, baby.
Going into the reward challenge, Rupert wants to win just so Drake sees how crucial he is to their success. This ends up being proven true as Morgan wins, in large part due to Rupert's effort.
Morgan wins reward! 2 challenges in a row!
Jeff then gives Rupert an option to either stay with Morgan and enjoy the reward you guys just won, or go back to Drake.
If you want to shower and shampoo and all that stuff, you can go back to Morgan, indulge, then return to Drake. Or, if you want, skip the reward, go back to Drake now.
Without even a slight hesitation from Rupert, he returns to Drake, which is essentially the only good way to handle a situation presented to you like this. When Andrew Savage comes over to get Morgan's one thing, since Morgan just won reward, Rupert says he can take whatever he wants, but he offers rice as a peace offering so they don't take anything else. Once again, a kind gesture, but it does boost Morgan.
You can take whatever you want, but I'm going to show you what I want you to take. Okay. I'm with you, brother.
Later on, Rupert finds a small injured snake in the ocean. He decides to keep it as a pet to help it recover and names it Balboa. Now, when he's talking about this little snake, in the background you can hear Fairplay yelling, "Bring it to the challenge!" which Rupert then does.
Rupert, who's the new tribe member? This is Balboa. I found him in the ocean, just barely hanging on. So we bandaged him up and we're gonna keep him as our mascot.
The immunity challenge is all about eating gross food, which Rupert has no problem doing. This next moment is small but funny. When Octopus is revealed, Rupert says,
I am loving the octopus.
Oh, we love octopus, extra tentacles.
Drake ultimately loses the immunity challenge due to Sandra not being able to drink or eat, I guess, her shake faster than the Morgan tribe. Michelle is the target and goes home in a 6-1 vote, and she is not part of Rupert's core alliance, so this seems to work out.
Michelle, Travis spoken.
Episode 6 begins on a somber note as Balboa the snake doesn't make it through the night and tragically passes away. Drake loses immunity again, and now Trish and Fairplay realize that Rupert is far too likable and powerful, and him making the merge will only spell doom for everyone else, as everyone seemingly loves him. They want him gone next.
One person has a hell of a lot of power right now.
Yep.
It's not right. I mean, just so much power.
John and Trish feel insecure about Rupert's power within the tribe.
Now, this was inevitable as Rupert has done nothing to lower his threat level and is only part of a 3-person alliance, which is not a large enough group to carry him to the end, and that 3-person alliance includes Sandra and Krista. However, Rupert's alliance of Sandra and Krista don't want him gone, so they inform him of Trish and Fairplay's plan. We then see Rupert and Fairplay both individually approach Sean to make their plan happen. Rupert wants to, of course, save himself, and Fairplay wants to vote Rupert out. However, how they each individually approach Sean is very indicative of who they are as people. You see Fairplay approaches Sean with this cocky attitude, telling him, yeah, this is what we're gonna do, that's the plan.
Wait, who's taking a ride? Rupert? Where'd that come from?
Had to do something. Rupert, good guy, but I'm not signing over my $1 million check to him, so that's the way the game's played.
But when you see Rupert talking to Sean, Rupert sits next to him, treats him as an equal, and it's clear that Sean seems even more on board with Rupert's plan than with Fairplay's. We then go to Tribal Council where Rupert, Mr. Blackbeard himself, feels like crying because of how far south his team has gone since throwing that challenge that he did not want to do. This is great for the sympathetic hero's tale we are being told about him, and here's what he said pre-game.
Even though I'm in a field that there are just gut-wrenching emotions, that you have to be hard and strong and not let them, not feel them inside, I can see myself out on the island, big, strong, scary me crying in a corner every once in a while just because I don't feel like I did good enough.
6th person voted out of the Pearl Islands. Trish, tribe has spoken.
Episode 7 begins with a bang as Rupert rips Fairplay a new one for even voting for him. Not only is this a bad optic for Rupert, but it hurts him strategically as well. He knew he was getting voted for, so this large emotional reaction is unnecessary, and what it does show is that everyone sees that if they're gonna vote out Rupert, then they have to blindside him in fear that he will get in their face and yell at him if he even gets word, if he even gets a whisper that he's going home.
Who the hell voted for me? Who the hell voted for me?
I did.
What the was that tonight?
I was down for Drake, dude. I would made a decision.
Damn it, look at me!
I'm looking at you.
What the was that?
When I sat and watched that at the finale with my daughter, she looks right at me and says, I don't like seeing that. I've never seen you that mad, Dad. I never... Now, you sign all the paperwork in the world saying you will not physically harm anyone, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. You can rip each other apart, but physically, you can't harm anybody. John was trying to get me to hit him. I don't hit. I don't even get that mad. John got me mad. And I laid hands on his shoulders and just gave him the little, where you try and bring your fingers together like I do on my kids. Sometimes you just get that little twinge and it snaps him back a little bit. As soon as I laid my hands on John, he's looking around for somebody to say, he's hurting me, he's hurting me. I wanted to kill that guy. I'm out there kicking my ass to get you damn fish, and you turn the tribe against me.
I didn't turn the tribe against you.
Who did?
Hey, it wasn't...
Who did?
The person that's gone right now is the person that came up with the idea.
Who voted for me?
I did.
He offers Fairplay a fresh start, but obviously nothing has really changed between these two as they are now at war, and Rupert thinks of him as a major pain in his butt.
Wearing blue for the Drake tribe. John.
I go by the moniker of Johnny Fairplay. I don't play fair.
Something big is on the horizon. As the Drake and Morgan tribe arrive at the challenge, it looks like it can handle 3 tribes. Even though this is normally the time of the game where the merge happens, is it possible they're going to split into 3 tribes for the first time ever?
Together, you voted 6 people out of this game. 3 from Morgan, 3 from Drake. The only real common trait among the 6 people you voted out is that they're no longer in this game. Come on in, guys.
No way.
The 6 people you have voted out return now as a 3rd tribe. Do you guys have a tribe name?
We're the outcasts.
Not unlike the pirate days, they got tired of somebody, felt they were no longer worthy, they shipped them out to sea, left them for dead. Typically, they died, but every so often they didn't. And when they came back, they usually had one thing on their mind. I'm guessing it's the same with you, Michelle.
Revenge, baby. All about revenge.
Holy cow, the voted off players have a chance to get back into the game. This is unprecedented. The show made no indication this twist was coming, and if someone told me it was decided at the last minute, I might believe you. But Survivor, knowing how out of left field this twist would be perceived, did try to give audiences a heads up with the TV promos leading up to this episode.
Something amazing is happening on Survivor. Something that's never happened before.
It's the game to end all games.
The tribes will face their worst nightmare.
Your past has come back to haunt you.
Survivors voted out are coming back.
No way.
He's ready to kill.
And wait till you see how they change the game. Don't miss the episode everyone will be talking about.
You may be going home.
Catch an all-new Survivor, CBS Thursday.
If the Outcast tribe win the challenge, then they get to vote 2 players back into the game to replace one Drake and one Morgan, and that is exactly what happens. They win the challenge.
Michelle's through, Burton's through, Ryan is through, the Outcasts defeat Morgan and Drake. This challenge is over.
So now Drake has to vote out one of their own, knowing that it's going to be replaced by one of the Outcasts, and the vote is between either Sean or Fairplay. Sandra tells Rupert and Krista that she wants to see Sean and Fairplay fight once again before Tribal.
We both, I would love to see.
God. Both of them are lying their asses off to us.
Say we can't decide on which one of you two will go home, or we want to hear why you should stay and let them fight it amongst themselves.
It'd be hilarious.
Now the best move here would be to vote out Fairplay and keep Sean, as Sean is a physical threat and would be one more person everyone could possibly target instead of Rupert. However, Sean is voted out in a 4-1 vote instead.
Sean, tribe has spoken.
Episode 8 begins with the Outcast Tribal Council, and they decide to vote back into the game Burton and Lil, with both of them returning to their original tribes. Upon arriving back at Drake, Burton is just simply happy to be there again.
What's up, Rupert?
Amazingly enough, Burton shows up in a good mood, happy to be here.
Rupert then takes the opportunity to talk to Burton one-on-one, and he explains, Burton, we voted you out, and especially I voted you out because you just kept picking on me over and over and over again. And Burton expresses his sincere apologies and says he had no idea, and they make amends with each other. Rupert then explains to us why it hurts so much to be picked on, because when he was growing up, he was picked on for being the fat kid and still carries that with him to this day. Burton even tells us that he respects Rupert, as he had no intention of hurting Rupert's feelings. Rupert makes Burton feel even better when he tells him that he doesn't want him gone. In fact, him and the Drake all want Fairplay out next, which has Burton just simply blown away. It is now time for the merge. They become one, and each tribe has 5 members, so unless someone flips, a tie vote is incoming.
Drop your buffs. You're merging. Hell yeah.
They even name the merged tribe Balboa after Rupert's dead snake, which pleases him to no end. At the Balboa merge camp, Andrew Savage is trying to convince Lil to not flip on the Morgans and help them get a 5-5 tie at Tribal Council. While he is doing this, Rupert is standing right behind him without him noticing and essentially telling Lil to stand her ground. While at first it may seem aggressive of Rupert to do this, later on in the season, in a scene that has absolutely no bearing on Rupert's story, and we wouldn't see otherwise, Lil tells us that she loves when a man takes charge. So this is actually a great move by Rupert to do with Lil, as this is the kind of thing that she likes.
I'll order for you guys. For dinner, she would like the filet mignon.
I love a man that takes over.
Me too.
Burton ends up winning individual immunity, and at Tribal Council, he's already safe and so is Lil. Jeff told each of them when they were voted back into the game that they're safe at the first Tribal Council they go to help them reintegrate into the game. So since none of them can immediately be picked off, they're not eligible, and Burton basically has double immunity. He decides to give his immunity sword and gun to Rupert, and keeps Rupert safe for this tribal, showing how good their current relationship is.
Such a close fight. I could not give it to you.
7th person voted out of the tribe. Andrew. Andrew, tribe has spoken. It's time for you to go.
Episode 9 begins with more fishing by Rupert, and actually Burton catches a large stingray. But as it turns out, this stingray has some electricity in it, as it shocks both Burton and Rupert.
Stick your finger in those holes.
Well, now you're freaking me out.
Wow! When they eat it, Rupert says it is shockingly good.
Shockingly good. Yes, sir. That's a high voltage meal.
After that, he re-emphasizes how he loves to feed the Morgans who have barely eaten, and he loves to just make them feel comfortable. Rupert wins the reward challenge and gives it to Burton as payback for him giving Rupert immunity at the last tribal council. Their relationship clearly is still going strong. However, immediately following that, Fairplay and Burton are talking, and they want Rupert out because he is far too loyal to Sandra and Krista and seemingly won't even entertain the thought of flipping on those two. Burton then suggests that, why don't they just take out Rupert next?
I am doing my best to act like, hey, I'm Drake, I'm Drake, I'm Drake. That's a bunch of lies. I want to win this game for the outcast tribe and those of us that got kicked out. So I started thinking about this. As far as my actions, I have no loyalty whatsoever to Drake. We cannot beat Rupert, Sandra, or Krista, and we cannot even separate them. No one can. Yep. For that reason alone, it might be worth taking Rupert out.
We're crazy if we don't. I mean, that's numbers, man. Burton knows how devious I am, therefore he feels I'd be the perfect person to go along with this plan with him. And he was exactly right.
This is also talked about later on in the episode, again, when they say that the three of them simply refuse to be split up. Now, this is not good, obviously, but it goes further than them simply wanting to target Rupert, which was bound to happen at some point. The fact that they know he won't even entertain flipping with them is bad on him, as they shouldn't figure this out until it's too late and one of them is voted out. On the reward, Burton works on recruiting Lil into this idea of voting out Rupert, and Lil doesn't reject the idea.
Who do we want the top three? John, you and me.
Then if we have to get rid of John, we get rid of John.
Even Sandra and Krista are shown entertaining the idea of voting out Rupert as well. Now, this is obviously terrible for him, as his threat level is so high. Everyone from his own tribe is okay with him gone, and there aren't enough Morgans for him to flip to in order to save himself. His game is a ticking time bomb just waiting to go off. However, Rupert wins immunity, completely saving himself, and Jeff Probst even calls him Blackbeard in the process. Rhino is then voted out in a unanimous 8-1 vote, and now Drake has a 5-3 advantage over Morgan, but clearly that doesn't really matter as Drake is on the verge of fracturing.
Ryan, tribe has spoken.
Coming back, guys.
Episode 10 starts off very dark. As it turns out, Rupert hates the nighttime because it gives him a lot of time to think about his family back home, who he just misses a lot.
Nighttime is my one bad time. If I could go just 39 days and never have to sleep, I would make this beautifully. At night out here, I start thinking about family. That's when I miss my family. I tell Laura, my wife, all my woes and sorrows, all my triumphs. I tell Laura everything.
He then says how he is not here to settle for anything less than first place, and when people are voted out by him, he wants them to feel good even though they're done in the game, which is actually a good thing, because if people feel good about you on the way out the door, they're more likely to vote for you at the end. Fairplay then says how he is so sick of Rupert, Sandra, and Krista thinking they have all the power in the game and letting the power go to their head. Nothing has been shown to really support the statement by Fairplay, but once again, it is bad for Rupert's game. Rupert then goes on a shark hunting expedition and tries desperately to catch one, but fails. Despite this, he tells us he will never give up and he will never surrender. Before the reward challenge, we learn that Burton has promised that if he wins, he will give the reward to Rupert. Burton does indeed win the reward alongside Lil, but rather than keeping his word and giving it to Rupert, he gives it to Fairplay instead.
John. All right, Lil's keeping her reward. Burton's giving his up to John.
You better drink a 12-pack.
Now, Burton does then go on to explain that the reason he's doing this is because he wants to keep Rupert weak and unable to win immunity. Now, this does seem like the perfect time for him, Sandra, and Krista to go approach Darren and Tawana and be like, hey guys, let's vote out Fairplay and Burton. They're huge threats in this game. However, earlier in the episode, Fairplay and Burton already did this. They did their due diligence in talking to Lil, Darren, and Tawana and convinced them to vote for Rupert, Sandra, and Krista, and they were all completely on board with this.
We tell them Rupert's going home. Their eyes are about as big as the sun. They can't believe it. They're like, oh my God, thank you guys so much. Thank you so much.
Sandra then spies on a conversation Burton and Fairplay are having about flipping Lil on Rupert, and she tells Rupert exactly what she heard. Rupert surprisingly doesn't take this as badly as you would think and says he isn't worried about Lil flipping since he talks to her every morning and their relationship is close enough that he feels like if she was to even be entertaining the thought, she would talk to him. And he thinks she'll tell him anything Fairplay tells her on the reward.
You're gonna ask her what you talked to her about?
Yep, I'm gonna ask her exactly what he talked about, and she will tell me.
Upon returning from the reward, Lil deceives Rupert by making him feel good, but it is clear she is on Fairplay's side as he sweet-talked her on that reward.
I just sucked Lil in quickly and told her, you stick with me and you could be top 2.
Lil, out of the game. Burton wins immunity again. Safe from tonight's vote. 3 more days out here.
At Tribal Council, Sandra credits Rupert with a lot of the reason they're doing so well in their survival due to how much fish he's catching for them.
First vote. Dara. 2 votes for Dara. John. Rupert. 9th person voted out of the tribe. Rupert, the tribe has spoken.
Wednesday, on a special night, before the hour's over,
It's not a good situation.
one of these castaways will commit the single worst act of deception
I never trusted you from day one, and you can't be trusted.
in Survivor history.
You're lying, and you have a reason to lie.
Who is it?
I just want to go home.
Find out on an all-new Survivor on a special night, CBS Wednesday.
That was the triumphant introduction to Rupert, aka America's favorite player after this season. The show did an amazing job focusing on what made him endearing and shied away from his negative traits by making sure we were sympathizing with him at every turn. I don't say any of this to knock Rupert down because despite this obvious storytelling edit, I love Rupert and clearly the show did too as they asked him to come back immediately the next season for Season 8 All-Stars.
39 days, 18 All-Stars, 1 Survivor.
He plays on All-Stars in the midst of Rupert Mania. The world was loving him on the show as Pearl Islands was still airing when he went out to go on All-Stars only a few months after playing previously. So can Rupert 2.0 realize the errors of his ways after being so fresh in his mind? Let's find out. What is important to note about Survivor All-Stars is how the tribes are separated. For the first time ever, there are 3 tribes of 6. The Mogo Mogo and Saboga tribe each have 2 former winners, and Chipera has none. The Saboga tribe consists of Jerry Manthe, Ethan Zahn, Tina Weston, Rupert Boneham, Jenna Lewis, and Rudy. Probably the most even out of how all the tribes are assembled. Now, unlike in past seasons, there is no marooning by Jeff in this season. The players just get dropped off at their beach with a machete and a map to the water well, and that's it. Nothing else. Ethan Zahn immediately assesses his tribe and he likes the makeup of it, even calling Rupert the nice guy. Right away we hear from Rupert what his new strategy will be. Did he learn from last time about how he lacked the awareness of him being a target and this time he needs to make a concentrated effort to lower his threat level and be more keenly aware of his position in the game?
I am the new guy on the block, you know? All these people know each other. Right now, I'm just trying to stand back and let all these egos decide what we do, and I'll be the worker bee. New strategy for a new game.
The answer seems to be mostly no. The worker bee strategy is exactly what he did last time. That is not any different. However, letting other people's egos clash and he stands aside is a great way to fly under the radar if he can hold to that because his ego did pop up in Pearl Islands to his detriment a few times. Later on, Rudy approaches Rupert about having an alliance and Rupert is all in on this idea.
You know, I think me and you ought to think about an alliance.
You're a man of your word, too, from what I know of you.
Yeah.
I am, too. Rudy looks at me, and the first time he sees me, you know, all tie-dyed and hippie, he looked right through it and wanted to be my buddy.
I figured me and Rupert ought to protect ourselves and form an alliance, and that's what we did. He says, I can depend on you, and he says, you can depend on me. That's all I gotta hear.
As we arrive at the immunity challenge, we get a sense of excitement as all the tribes finally meet, and Rupert Mania has not only taken the audience by storm, but the other players on the island as well, as they are thrilled to see him on the season. However, that excitement doesn't last long, as the Saboga tribe is the first one to lose immunity, and Jenna and Jerry approach Rupert about voting out one of the prior winners. Jenna Lewis is on a warpath. She says no winners making it far in this game, so their options are either Ethan, Zahn, or Tina. Ethan, though, approaches Rupert about voting out either Jenna or Jerry, since they're both considered villains, and Ethan says he's honest and trustworthy. And Ethan tells Rupert, hey, you're honest and trustworthy like me, so we should be teamed up. Rupert is hesitant to side with anyone at the moment.
You watched Jenna and Jerry, you saw how they played last night. They don't play the way you play. I will give you my word. You saw me in Africa. I played the same way the entire game.
At Tribal Council, he does pick a side, and this sets the stage for the rest of the season as him and Rudy side with
Jenna. Tina. Jenna. 2 votes, Jenna. Tina. 3 votes, Tina. First person voted out of Survivor All-Star. Tina. Tina, the tribe has spoken.
While it is great he survived the vote, voting out Tina, a bigger target than himself, is not good and shows that he doesn't understand what went wrong last time. So far, it seems like Rupert is well loved, in a power position early in the game, but fully lacks the understanding as to why his Pearl Islands game failed. To be fair, the show hadn't shown him getting voted off before he left for All Stars, so all of his knowledge as to why his game failed is just based on what he remembers happening. It will be interesting to see if Rupert can get better as the game goes along and realize that he needs bigger targets around him to protect himself. Episode 2 begins, and at the reward challenge, Saboga wins, but it ultimately doesn't matter as all they have won are some lousy blankets. But Jeff offers them an option. They can either take those lousy blankets or they can get a pot and a flint if they agree to let the other tribes have a pot and flint as well. Being as this is the obviously superior option, Saboga takes the deal. So far in the game, none of the tribes have been able to make fire, so the flint is a crucial thing they all desperately need. Rupert tells us that before this experience, he thought he was the ultimate outdoors man, which he is, but
this is showing me that I'm not, I thought I was the outdoors man. And I am, with a lighter.
When Saboga finally does make fire, Rupert is happy, like unnaturally happy, as if he is playing it up for the cameras, which he probably is. At the immunity challenge, Saboga loses again, and this time it seems like Rudy is the target since he is terrible at challenges and is already injured. Jenna calls this shot, but Rupert doesn't want to do it. He is way too emotionally attached to Rudy to vote him out.
I'm not writing Rudy's name down. I know that. I'm not writing Rudy's name down.
Ethan. Rudy. Ethan. Rudy, second person voted out of the Saboga tribe. Rudy, the tribe has spoken.
I talked to these people about 2 hours ago, and everything was all set up to vote Ethan off. If I was them, I'd stay clear of me. When people lie to me, I get even. They just better watch their step for a long time. I got a lot of friends.
The next day at camp, everyone is working harder than normal. I don't need to say this, but just know that every single day on the island, Rupert is out fishing and being fairly successful at doing so, whether he has just a stick that he's fashioned or a Hawaiian sling. However, Ethan wants to give this whole fishing thing a shot, and Rupert basically says that Ethan shouldn't get upset that he won't be as good as Rupert.
I know he wants to be too, but it can't be a competition between he and I. That will just hurt his emotions.
A gift from above, or in this case, the Home Depot, arrives, and all the tribes are tasked with building the best shelter they can in just a limited amount of time.
It's a contest to see who can build the best home for themselves in a 24-hour period.
While Mogo Mogo and Chapera do their best to build above ground shelters, probably the the way most people would do it, Saboga, or in this case Rupert, has a better idea. Let's build a log cabin that also goes underground so that they can stand in their log cabin. Jerry says this is a really dumb idea, and Ethan actually agrees with her, but only in a confessional. And they're both right, but Rupert won't admit it and has his ego get in the way.
Personally, I don't feel digging into the ground is a good idea.
Okay. So you want to build the thing all out of the ground? We need... None of them are going to make a structure as creative as ours. They're going to make huts.
I hear ya.
We're going to make a log cabin.
Rupert's a complete control freak. He has to have everything his way, and he thinks he's the only one who can do it right. But you know what? All we need is rain rushing down the side of that hill right into our shelter, and we're screwed.
Jerry and Rupert got in a fight. Perfect. It's just what I wanted. She had very valid points. You know, I don't want to dig down 3 feet and live under the ground, but I'm not going to say that, because if you piss someone off, you know, you could be going home.
He is not impressed in the least and tells Jeff Probst that he would never ever want to live in this shelter, since the moment it rains, the shelter will be flooded, which is what Jerry said. Saboga obviously loses this challenge.
Oh, you don't like it? No. This is Saboga. It's very dangerous. It's
dangerous?
Yeah, this is a water.
Anyways, we move on to the immunity challenge, and they don't play an immunity challenge because Jenna Maraska quits.
Due to someone who's very ill at home right now, that's getting worse. I need to pull myself out of the game.
She suspects she needs to be at home with her sick mother, and Jenna is right, as her mother does pass away not too long after. And since she quit, there is no immunity challenge or tribal council for this episode, and we move on to episode 4, where an expected event takes place. The first time it rains outside, the shelter is flooded. Sometimes seeing is believing, and Rupert finally admits how dumb his idea is.
Our beach was destroyed. Stupid shelter that I built was destroyed. It's now underwater, and we are homeless. Digging into the sand is the dumbest idea I've ever had in my life.
We've been shivering in the rain probably 5 or 6 hours. It's a disaster.
Things don't get immediately better for Saboga, as they do lose the reward challenge in episode 4, but they actually pull out an immunity win in episode 4 as well.
Last piece. Olga, first try to win immunity! No!
But moving on to episode 5, they lose the reward challenge, which has them on a hot streak of losing. However, losing this reward challenge has Saboga disbanded, and they are drafted by Mogo Mogo and Shapira. While Ethan and Jerry go to Mogo Mogo, Jenna and Rupert get drafted by Shapira, which is good for Rupert because this is the tribe that has been dominating challenges so far.
Rupert, no longer a member of Saboga, you are now a member of Shapira.
Upon arriving at Shapira, Rupert is amazed by what they have built for their shelter and says in comparison to Saboga's camp, this one is basically perfect. At the immunity challenge, Richard Hatch gets naked like he has been doing all season, not that that makes it right, just that he's been doing it, and rubs on Sue while he is naked. While this is just gross in the moment, it will be more important later on down the line. But anyways, Shapira wins immunity, and once again you can hear Rupert being way too enthusiastic in the background.
Rob has the winning flag. Shapira wins immunity.
Episode 6 brings with it our first true bond we have seen Rupert form since his one with Rudy back in the beginning, as Big Tom tells us that he really likes Rupert, though he's a little worried that Rupert could replace him in the Alliance, but it doesn't seem like that Tom will hold that against Rupert. We finally get introduced to Boston Rob in the story, and with that comes a much needed explanation. If Boston Rob is jealous, even in the slightest, of any other man on this season, he will make a point to belittle and put them down in a confessional, and sometimes he will do it to their face. No one is excluded from this, not even Jeff Probst.
Just smash it open.
No.
Then all of a sudden, everybody else is saying, oh no, we don't want to do that. We might upset Pretty Boy Probst or something.
So when Rob belittles Rupert and is a jerk about it, it isn't news to us as an audience that he would do this, but he clearly is hating just to hate.
Billy Adams out there trying to pretend like he's a big man. He brought home 2 little fish the whole time he's been here.
Eventually though, Boston Rob does come around to accepting that Rupert can be a benefit to his game, and he, along with Amber, his girlfriend at this point, form a Final Four deal with Rupert and Jenna.
Rob and I came up with the idea to approach Rupert and Jenna, tell them that, we think we're on the outs, we think we're in trouble. We'll save you if you save us.
So I got alliances with everybody now, except Sue and Alicia.
Now, after 16 days, I know that I can trust Jenna. I hope that I can trust Rob and Amber. I feel pretty confident with where I'm at.
Remember earlier when Richard Hatch rubbed up on Sue? Well, it all comes to a head in this episode as Sue has a mental/emotional breakdown, and at the reward challenge, Richard Hatch is voted out already, so he's not there. She blows up on Jeff Probst instead and quits the game.
I was violated, humiliated, dehumanized, and totally spent, Jeff. It wasn't sorta, Jeff.
However, Rupert is one of the voices on Chapera that is judgmental about Sue quitting and thinks she is making a mistake. He also thinks that she has alternate motivations to extract money from the show, since she told him when the cameras were not around that she wants to sue them for lots of money.
By her own greed when she said to me, I'm suing them for $10 million.
It isn't really Rupert's place to judge what Sue is doing, but it's just not a good look for him. After Sue's quit, everyone left on Chapera makes a pact to be the final 6. And at this point, Rupert is now in an onion alliance that has Rob and Amber at the core, him and Jenna in the middle layer, and Alicia and Big Tom on the outside.
Night is for the worst. We're gonna have to start sleeping during the day. It's brutal. It's our 4th night on this beach, and it's our 5th night with no sleep. The bugs are by far the worst element out of anything we gotta deal with out here. I just want a long sleeve shirt. That's all I want. That's it.
Last night was one of the better nights. My body is finally adjusting to this place surprisingly well. My bug bites are going away. I'm sleeping better. I slept most of the night. I didn't get up and tend fire once.
Friend of yours has left the game. There will be no challenge play tonight.
So, I
Too
need
bad
to
we don't have any whiskey.
Let's have some rice.
Chapera then continues their hot streak of winning, and Rupert's story is put on the back burner as they win reward and immunity, and then another reward where they finally get a Hawaiian sling into Rupert's hands. While he does love his wife and daughter, his island love is this Hawaiian sling, and he is going on a fishing rampage with it.
Rupert's all excited about having the Hawaiian sling. It's his baby. Now he can catch a fish and show how much he's worth to the tribe. This guy talks baby talk. What is that? You ever notice that?
My name is Rupert. I'm a big and strong fisherman in the Pearl Island.
Later on, he reveals to us that Rob and Amber are getting very, very close. He has actually walked up on them accidentally a few times in the middle of the night, and they act super guilty when they see him. This is confirmed as we then see them kiss for the first time all season.
If Rob and Amber are not playing kissy face, sucky kissy face yet, they are gonna be soon.
The next day, Rob continues to make fun of Rupert, and this time he's pointing out how sometimes Rupert talks like he's a baby, I guess, is what Rob says. He then decides that Rupert is worthless to him. That Hawaiian sling does all the work, and he says everyone knows this. With a Hawaiian sling, anyone can catch as many fish as they want. So Rob does just that. He goes out and catches a bunch of fish with the Hawaiian sling. Rupert does his best to contain his emotions, but he does tell us that sometimes he loves Boston Rob, and other times, Rob's a real jerk. Either way, Boston Rob isn't showing Rupert much respect, and Rob is running the show. However, Chapera once again wins immunity. And episode 9 is a recap episode and is not part of the overall narrative, so we move on to episode 10, where we open up the episode with Rupert and Big Tom seemingly doing all the work at camp. Rupert is annoyed that everyone else just lays in the shelter, but he knows better than to get mad at them and tell them to get to work, even though that's really what he wants to do. Everyone is feeling like the merge must be happening soon. Here we are in episode 10 after all, and when the tribes meet, Jeff has each of them pair up and have a picnic lunch with someone from the opposite tribe. Sheehan is paired up with Rupert, and she talks about how Boston Rob is going to be extremely dangerous in the post-merge game, and Rupert completely agrees.
Rob is really the dangerous one, it seems, because if we go to individual immunities, that guy is gonna win and win and win.
Jeff then has everyone drop their buffs and draw new ones, but no, it isn't a merge, only the first tribe swap this late into the season. What is strange though is how everyone pretty much just swaps colors, with Amber being the only one who stays on Chapera, but is actually surrounded by all of former Mogo Mogo, just now in new buffs.
Amber is the only one to change tribes.
Rupert's tribe wins immunity, and Boston Rob makes an attempt to save Amber by cutting a deal with Lex.
If you can.
Episode 11 begins, and as it turns out, Boston Rob's deal works out as Amber was spared, and Lex did follow through and voted out Jerry. Even though they are not merged, they do have an individual reward challenge which Rupert wins, and he chooses Jenna and Amber to go with him on it. All three of them have a good old time on the reward, which has Rupert taking a shower and even asking some questions about how to get himself clean.
You do the deep moisturizing treatment fridge down before conditioner or after?
Before.
Upon arriving from that reward, Jeff tells them,
This time the buff. Yes! It is the merge color.
2/3 of the way into this game, and finally they're merged. While this merge episode is absolute insanity, Rupert is once again put on the back burner of the story. At this point, it is safe to say this season is not about him like it was in Pearl Islands, as Rob backstabs Lex despite him saving Amber and decides that the Chapera 6 will be steamrolling the remaining 3 Mogo Mogo members, whether they like it or not. Rupert helps to vote out Lex.
Lex, tribe has spoken. It's time for you to go.
Episode 12 brings with it a small sliver of a video from home for everyone from their loved ones. When Rupert sees his wife and daughter, he immediately tears up and gets very emotional, and it is very clear how much he loves them. The reward challenge is to win a letter from home and also get your full tape from home, and Boston Rob wins. However, he trades his tape for everyone to get their letter from home instead, and back at camp, Rupert reads his tie-dyed letter from his family and tells us that he loves what his daughter thinks about him.
It's just uplifting. I like it that my wife and daughter think I'm the toughest, baddest son of a bitch out there. Even though I'm not. I like that though, that gives me strength.
At Tribal Council, the steamrolling of Mogo Mogo continues as Kathy is voted out 6-2.
Kathy, the tribe has spoken.
Episode 13 begins with a reward challenge where the tribe has to answer questions about what they think about each other. For the question about who is the most honest, it turns out Rupert is the right answer, and that really says a lot about what people think about him. Rupert wins the reward challenge, however this is a tough position to be in since it's kind of a win-lose situation for whoever won the challenge. The reason being is that he has to pick what food everyone else gets at the restaurant, and at that restaurant there is definitely an obvious order of what's best and what's worst, going from like a nice steak dinner to a bowl of rice. In deliberating on this decision, he once again shows how he doesn't understand why he lost Pearl Islands.
I love Rupert, but strategy-wise, he is, I don't want to say not good at the game, he is, but he needs some coaching.
Then at the reward, he makes the mistake of revealing the pecking order by picking what the pecking order is in his mind for food. So basically, Boston Rob gets the nice burger and Sheehan gets the rice, and everyone in between is in the order Rupert views them.
Basically, Rupert exposed our alliance of 4. He's kind of sticking it in their face, which kind of shows me that he does trust myself and Amber to to a degree.
It's a baffling decision to be sure, as now the outer layer of the Onion Alliance knows that they're the outer layer, or at least they should know. Back at camp, Sheehan is talking to him about the need to make a move and get out Boston Rob next, since it is Final 7 and this is the perfect time to make a flip happen. Rupert acknowledges that right now he knows he is going to finish in 4th, barring a change.
They're telling me they'll take me to the Final 4 too, but I know I'll be 4th. Unless I win immunity.
We then hear from Rob about how he is paranoid about Rupert and thinks that Rupert is probably thinking things about Rob that are not favorable of Rob, which isn't true, but Rob's perception of Rupert is still no good for his game.
I know what people think around the camp. I know, even though Rupert pretends he's all nice. Well, last night he gave me a hamburger. I can read beyond that.
At the immunity challenge, Sheehan beats Rupert and successfully delays her inevitable vote off. And despite someone in the Onion Alliance needing to be voted off next, there is no move made to get Boston Rob, who is vulnerable and is clearly running the alliance. So since Sheehan is not an option, they vote out Alicia 6-1.
Alicia, the tribe has spoken.
Episode 14 starts off with Rupert in a grumpy mood as he is tired of everyone else slacking off while he seemingly does all the work for fish. When he brings back all of the fish he has caught for the day, he prepares one for himself and says that everyone else can prepare their own fish if they want to eat. No one seems to take issue with this except Jenna, who seems to think that Rupert expects everyone to catch their own fish when he says over and over again it's just that he wants them to cook their own fish because he's tired of doing it for them.
Everybody can go down there, gut a fish, and put it on the fire.
Yes, you go out and you spend that hour and a half fishing. We can't physically do that.
My little Jenna had the nerve to bitch at me about putting one of my fish on the grill, and I'm very sorry that I have an alliance with her.
At Tribal Council, we even see Jeff Probst take Jenna's side, whereas Sheehan and Amber take Rupert's. Even though Rupert is in the right, this drama is completely unnecessary and he kinda did cause it along with Jenna. At the reward challenge, the stakes are raised as we finally get the loved ones visit, and when Rupert sees his wife, they get touchy-feely in a way that is uncomfortable, I think not only for the people present to witness, but for us to witness as well.
Oh, God.
Whoa, Rupert. Whoa.
Big Tom ends up winning the reward challenge and he picks Boston Rob to go with him to have his loved ones visit as well. He explains that despite the other castaways encouraging him to pick Rupert, he didn't because he couldn't stand to see Rupert slobber all over his wife.
And I could have took over Rupert, but I couldn't go stand to see him. I never seen a man slobber over a woman like he did his wife.
Big Tom and Boston Rob get to bring their loved ones back to camp, and when they do, Tom's son Bo goes out to fish with one of Rupert's girlfriends, that being one of the Hawaiian slings, because now they have two. While fishing, Bo loses the head of one of the spears, but unlike in Pearl Islands, Rupert keeps a cool head and doesn't flip out like he did last time, truly showing that he has learned some things along the way. At Tribal Council, the steamrolling of Mogo Mogo is complete, and Sheehan is voted out 5-1.
Sheehan, tribe spoken.
Good luck, everyone.
It is now episode 15, and with only 5 players remaining, now is really the last, probably the most prime time to vote out Rob or Amber for Rupert to ensure he makes it past an inevitable 4th place finish. Jenna and Rupert then find a private place to chat, and Jenna says we have to get out Boston Rob next, which is 1000% the right move to make. Rupert agrees with her, but while they are talking, Boston Rob walks up behind Rupert, and Rupert's not at fault here, but Rob does hear what Rupert says, and of course this is clearly terrible for their game, and shows also that Jenna is a terrible lookout.
When we do, we vote Boston Rob, okay?
Right, we go Boston Rob.
The reward challenge is for a car, and Boston Rob wins. He gets to bring one person with him on the reward, so of course he picks Amber. Now after him and Amber come back to camp from that reward, Amber reveals to everyone that, hey, surprise, not only did Rob win a car, but since I went with him, I won a car as well. This brings out a jealousy by Rupert that we haven't really seen so far.
They won a car apiece. I saved my candy. Well, it's easy to save your damn candy when you got a belly full. And a new car.
However, that combined with the talk that he had with Jenna earlier motivates him to talk to Big Tom about finally flipping on Rob or Amber, whoever is eligible to be voted out. Big Tom seemingly confirms nothing with Rupert, and if you watched Big Tom's story video, then you know that at this point he is disillusioned into thinking that he would be sitting with Boston Rob in the final 2, despite the obvious love connection that Rob and Amber have. Good on Rupert to get this conversation happening, but the way we're seeing it here, it seems like it's very late in the game to be doing so. This should have been in the works a bit earlier than now.
Or are you gonna band with me and put Rob out? Pick that damn couple and break that couple apart.
Boston Rob's paranoia sets in and he motivates Big Tom to start a fight with Rupert by claiming that Rupert is telling Rob to vote out Tom, which is untrue, and Rob confirms that to us that he's just making up.
There's no guarantee that Tom's gonna stay loyal. I can't trust anybody. So pretty much what I did was I instigated Big Tom to start a fight with Rupert.
So as Rob watches on, Tom and Rupert fight in a way that has them both looking terrible and revealing things in front of Rob that they really shouldn't be doing, and Rupert is in a tough situation here, and I don't really blame him for fighting back, but this is not good for his game.
Did you or did you not tell me we needed to get Rob off? You was tired of watching him sit around and you needed to get Rob off, and you were sorry you made an alliance with him. Did you not tell me that?
And there's going to be no real way to recover from that, as Big Tom has previously stated that he wants to win the game with class, and in 2004, flipping is not a strategy that is looked upon favorably by audiences or by players in the game. Boston Rob wins immunity, and at Tribal Council, Big Tom is blindsided in a 4-1 vote.
Big Tom, the tribe has spoken.
I heard it.
At this point, Rupert needs to win out on immunity challenges to secure himself a spot in the final 2 or even the final 3. Otherwise, he is a dead man walking. It is finale time. Rupert versus Jenna versus Boston Rob versus Amber. Who will win it all? The finale starts with Boston Rob and Amber talking to Jenna, convincing her over the course of the episode basically to vote out Rupert, since they say she has no chance of beating him in the final 2, and they're probably right. At the final 4 immunity challenge, Rupert needs to win this. If he doesn't, he is in a bad position. So of course, Amber wins, and Rupert needs a tie vote plus a rock draw to have any hopes of being safe at this point.
Amber wins immunity! Guaranteed, final 3!
Back at camp, Rob continues to work on Jenna and convinces her that Rupert will always beat her in the final 2. There is no configuration where Jenna wins. Jenna tells Rupert that, hey, I'm not voting for you as of now. We then hear from Rupert that he knows his emotions drive all of his moves in the game, which is a terrible way to play, but he doesn't say that part.
I believe that she will write Rob's name down.
At Tribal Council, he tells us that his only hope is a rock draw, which people at this point are legitimately scared of doing ever since it happened 4 seasons prior in Survivor Marquesas.
Everybody's got to play the game how they play, and that's okay. But I hope that Jenna and I would stand strong, that we would force the rock issue.
At Tribal Council, Jenna is clearly convinced that she has a better shot at winning final immunity than surviving a rock draw, and decides to vote out Rupert 3-1.
Rupert, the tribe has spoken.
37 days. I made it. 37 days. 10 more than Pearl Isles, and I actually had fun. People talk about honor in this game. There's very little honor.
Believe it or not, Boston Rob and Amber actually got engaged at the finale because, yes, they make the final 2 and Amber wins in a close 4-3 vote, and to this day, they're still married and they got 4 kids. Rupert was 2 immunity wins from getting that $1 million check himself, in my opinion, and get this, for the only time ever in Survivor history, the show has a second finale of sorts, as they host a live event only a few nights after the All-Stars finale, which they call America's Tribal Council, an hour-long live event to give one All-Star a $1 million check, sponsored by Singular Wireless. I see the sponsorship really worked out well for them. Anyways, the final 4 to get this money are Big Tom, Colby Donaldson, Boston Rob, and Rupert, and America voted for their winner. So, who gets the check?
According to America, 38 million votes say the favorite Survivor All-Star is Rupert.
Rupert is now a millionaire. Wow, he went from being a nobody to everything you just saw in this video so far over the course of 1 year. But now what? Rupert would be on TV constantly talking about how he wants to play Survivor again, and I guess Israel heard him loud and clear. Yes, you heard that correctly. The country of Israel asked Rupert to be on their season, their own Survivor show, as a reward.
Rupert!
I'm back!
Wow!
I can't believe I'm back on Survivor.
You think you can help them?
Oh, I know I can. After the second one, I found freedom. You know, my favorite thing out there in the water, tons of food. We will eat.
Sound tasty,
Whoever gets me, we will eat.
Oh yeah, did I mention everyone speaks Hebrew and a little bit of English? So your guess as to what they're saying is as good as mine, if not better. The Purple Tribe wins Rupert, and when he arrives at their camp, everyone is all ears for their reward to teach them how to live the Survivor way. And they want to see the expert fisherman in action, so.
We eat today?
We eat a lot. You want to fish?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go fishing for hours and hopefully I can bring something back. There's no fish in the ocean. This burns. Okay. This burns underwater, this'll burn. Let me get a better pile. Let me get a better pile of steel. Why is it not going? Just don't understand. I'm feeling bad. It's not as easy as you remember.
He catches nothing, he can't climb a tree like Ozzy, and he doesn't even make fire. Speaking of Ozzy, that would have been an actual excellent reward. Is this a reward or a burden for the Purple Tribe? That's my real question. The previous Survivor Israel season before this one was placed in the Pearl Islands, and I assume Rupert would have been a perfect fit there, as he would have been at least familiar with the territory. Here, it's just Rupert actually kind of being sad. We even get a lot of sad music as people realize Rupert is trying his hardest, but yeah, he's probably not any better than the rest of them. However, one thing Rupert is great at is his amazing work ethic, so you better believe he keeps trying and trying until he catches them 2 whole fish, and the tribe nicknames him Rupee.
Every one of us sometimes doubts yourself. There's food here somewhere. It's just trying to find it.
Oh my God!
Rupert, can we call you Whoopi?
You can call me whatever you like.
This episode is surreal to watch. It's an hour long. You can find it on YouTube. As the players go to the immunity challenge where they give Rupee a necklace, and that's it. Rupee is done. He showed up, failed miserably, and caught 2 fish. I wish I could understand what the players are saying about him. I really do, but I can't. And believe it or not, only a few months later after this, Rupee is asked to play again, but this time on American Survivor for the epic season of Heroes versus Villains.
I grew up feeling like I was never good at anything. When Survivor came along, it kind of forced me out of that shell, the same way that I'm trying to do for our participants in Rupert's Kids. Show them that it's okay, that you do fit, that you do belong, that you don't have to fight society, you can be a part of it.
39 days, 20 people, 1 survivor.
Now, a few people here are back from All-Stars like Boston Rob Colby and Jerry Manthe, but notably, Sandra is here from season several Pearl Islands as well. But let's catch up with Rupert as he gets the first confessional of this epic season.
In my world, I've always tried to show that good will win. Flying in the choppers, my heart's beating a mile a minute. I'm sitting right next to Tom and Sari and all these people. I know the game's going. I'm finally back in the game.
Out of everyone on this cast, no one will debate that Rupert is a hero. However, had he been cast as a villain, I think he would have embraced that too and made it fun. Rupert's kind of like down for whatever. We then have all 20 returnees talk to Jeff, with Boston Rob saying hero and villain, it's all just a matter of perspective on the show. And Tom says, I think some people here might change how they play if it didn't work out for them the last time. Now I wonder if Rupert's going to be one of those, because his worker bee strategy from his first 2 seasons clearly didn't work. He still lost. He was too big of a threat. Jeff then tells Rupert that despite not having played in 12 seasons, he is still one of, if not the most popular player ever. Rupert takes this very graciously, and we then get our first reward challenge, which ends up being wild, as sure, the heroes win, but not before Sugar loses her top. Stephanie LaGrossa dislocates her shoulder and then fixes it herself. Wow. And Rupert...
When I came out of that final heat, my toe, instead of going straight up and down, went like a J. My toe is broke, and I felt it cracking inside, but I'm not getting put out of this game over a damn toe.
That has to hurt, but his strength in challenges has never been speed. It has been muscle and brute force, and we shall see if his toe will affect that. We go to the heroes camp where life is good for them as they catch some chickens and no one is slacking off, which is the polar opposite of what we see over on the villains tribe. So anyways, what is Rupert's strategy this time? Well, he says he's going to be the worker bee. Rupert, that's the same strategy. You have yet to win using it. Why did he say this is a different strategy? It's the same strategy. A lot has changed and yet nothing has changed. He then fails to make fire, which JT does in like 2 seconds, and Cerie starts sending strays his way as she says Rupert's ego is huge and he can't stand when someone else is better at him at something. I don't know if that's true, but we'll find out, I guess. I mean, I know Rupert has some ego, I just don't know if it's so huge that he can't stand someone else being better at something. But the show is including this confessional, so we must keep it in mind. That night, Sugar is annoying everyone with her antics, and the next day they lose immunity. Rupert says no one in a million years would have guessed that the heroes were gonna go to tribal council first. Really? No one in a million years would have guessed that one of the 2 tribes is going to tribal council first? Everyone for a million years, like, oh yeah, obviously the villains, like for years, just thousands, million years, people are gonna be like, oh yeah, no, obviously if this ever happens, this season that we talked about for a million years, yep, it's gonna be the villains. All right, okay, just want to throw that out there. But he does make fun of how their tribe needed a little ego shattering. So they all go to tribal council to vote, and...
First person voted out as survivor, heroes versus villains. Sugar. Sugar? The tribe has spoken.
That's it for the premiere, and Rupert is a hero through and through. He is embracing the role the most, and his love for the game is so apparent that it's quite infectious. In fact, throughout his entire time here, you're gonna hear him rooting for them in the background constantly. I'm not gonna include it here in all the footage because it's just background noise a lot of time, but Rupert is constantly rooting for the heroes at every turn. However, I have no idea what any of this means in terms of how well he will do. If it's anything like the last 2 times, he's gonna get eliminated post-merge for being too big of a threat. Did you know that Patreon is free to sign up for? Yes, that is the place where I give updates, post videos early, and have you all pick what I make, which includes this video. The patrons pick this one. It now has a free option. Link in the description. You can cancel at any time, and there's a 15% discount if you do financially support us for 1 year. Thank you for your support. Episode 2 sees the villains slacking and not working well together at all, whereas the heroes are doing their fair share of work. Despite losing immunity and voting off Sugar, we're meant to be rooting for these guys. Heck, even the music for their tribe is heroic. It gives you the sense of awe and wonder. It's something else. However, Rupert says, I want Stephanie out, and...
For my game, it is a very good idea for me to get rid of Steph. I mean, she's a sweet girl, but in the game, I think Stephanie would side with anyone that got her one day further.
Rupert's starting to get a little bit annoying. Every time we turn around, he's got an opinion about everything. I'm just sitting back being quiet because he could be trying to get me out of this game. I honestly think the guy is playing up the good guy role out here, and he is a good guy. I'm not saying he's not. But it's just, you know, it's overkill right now. It's day 4. Like, whoa.
Does it have to do with popularity? I don't know. But what I do know is that Stephanie was a villain on Guatemala and got a very favorable edit on Palau to make her look like a hero. Rupert doesn't like villains. Let's just put it there.
When you saw Stephanie erupt the way she did in this past episode,
she's played so well. She's played a very strong game, but this kind of outburst, what did you think?
See, you know, when you get down to the end, you start doing that little picking on each other and trying to defend yourself, and the paranoia just sets in.
Yeah.
Stephanie and Judd both are showing a little too much power, cockiness, you know, attitude. You know, when Stephanie was showing that she was trying to get herself entrenched in the team, but still had that attitude a little bit. I thought, you know, she's going to show. It's such a game of social.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't really understand that the first time I played, that the social aspect is so important. You know?
Because she certainly is a strong physical player and is so good at challenges and all this other stuff. Interesting to me, as you watch it now, do you wish you could go back and play again?
In a second. I was wishing when they were telling, you know, that the popular men and women are coming back.
Right.
Even my own family, who knows I'm just addicted to the game, came to me. My mama said, "I thought you weren't going back to that game anymore." I would go. I would go in a second.
That isn't to say that's why he wants Stephanie out, but the show doesn't do a great job explaining, so I'm kind of inserting my own 2 cents on this matter. Their tribe loses immunity due to multiple people trying to control the challenge and not just letting JT lead. The decision is clear for the majority though. Stephanie has got to go. So they all go to vote and...
Steph, the tribe has spoken.
Just some advice. Next time y'all lose a challenge, a little less cursing off your tribe might help.
Keep your mouth shut.
Oh, come on.
What is surprising me is that no one is targeting him despite his broken toe holding them back. Rupert is good socially, and like Sandra, he sticks with the majority. He doesn't really try to rock the boat. Rupert says, "I just want us to bond, and that will help us win challenges." Well, lucky for him, which is a weird thing to say, considering that the chickens escape, and everyone has to work together to catch them. Rupert loves this because we all had a common goal that didn't involve voting each other off. So we go to the immunity challenge, where...
Survivors ready. Go! Tom, not messing around! Harmony now has Candace near the edge. Candace now takes Harmony out. Harmony first in the mud. Heroes score. Heroes lead 2-0. Rain coming down now for this battle. Coach in trouble. Coach in the mud for the villains. Heroes score. The Heroes lead. Sheree goes after Jerry. She has her on the run. Jerry down. Jerry in the mud. Heroes score again. JT comes out hard and strong. JT going after Tyson. Tyson in trouble. Tyson in the mud for the villains. Danielle going hard against Amanda. Now Amanda has Danielle on the run. Colby goes strong. Rob slips but stays on. Colby pushes Rob into the mud. Heroes score again. James goes after Randy, and with one push, Randy in the mud. Heroes win. Immunity and reward.
Finally, they get a win. Anything that requires thinking, they lose, but when it comes to mindlessly just shoving others, the heroes are clearly superior. The next day, they are making some coffee when they find an idol clue in their coffee beans, and this of course causes a massive rush by everyone to go and find that idol, which Tom does. Amanda catches him in the act, and quickly it spreads to everyone that Tom has this, so it's a good thing that Rupert found out because Tom is not in his alliance. Tom and Colby are on the outs. Rupert says, "Crap, right when we were getting along, this had to happen." They then lose immunity, and it is decided to vote off Colby since Tom has that idol. We then go to Tribal Council where Jeff has his mind blown when Rupert says, "Sticking to my alliance is more important than voting off the physically weakest players." Is this dumb? No. Does the show portray it as dumb? Yes. So they all go to vote, and...
I'll read the votes. Jeff. And Gil. This is indeed a hidden immunity idol. Any votes cast for Tom will not count. First vote. Tom. Does not count. Tom. Does not count. Tom. Does not count. Colby. That's one vote, Colby. Colby. Sheree. Sheree. Fourth person voted out a survivor, heroes versus villains. Sheree. Sheree, the tribe has spoken.
JT flipped. Wow. Rupert is mad because he stayed loyal and JT did not. JT is that one player Tom was referencing who might change their game, but what's weird is that JT has won before, so Why is he changing his game style? I mean, it's fun to watch, but I don't understand it. We then go to the reward challenge where James gets badly injured. And yeah, that's now 3 heroes who I can recall off the top of my head who have seen some sort of serious injury so far. This season is rough. Rupert even slams Jerry into the wall by accident. And by the way, he has done absolutely nothing to improve upon their relationship from All Stars, I gotta say. And she is mad at him, as she should be. They of course lose reward and immunity, and JT tells Rupert that yes, James is in a massive leg brace, just look at him. But we're targeting Tom. Wild, absolutely wild. James should obviously go over anyone else, right? Am I going crazy? Candace then says, am I going crazy? Because James is in a massive leg brace. Why are we voting off Tom? Candace says this might be a stupid idea. And Rupert says if we're voting off someone for being stupid, then he should have been gone a long time ago. You see, jokes like that make me go, he's not the arrogant person they're trying to paint him to be. Try as the show may, I am not all in on this Rupert is an arrogant egomaniac narrative. So they all go to vote, and
first vote, Tom. James. Tom. 2 votes, Tom. James. That's 2 votes, Tom. 2 votes, James. Tom. 5th person voted out of Survivor Heroes versus Villains. Tom. That's 4. That's enough. Tom, the tribe has spoken.
Episode 6 sees Jeff saying both tribes are going to tribal council, no matter what. Great, just great. Candace wins individual immunity for their tribe, and back at camp, Colby gives his surrender speech when he says, guys, there's no need to scramble. I already know I'm gone, so let's just have a comfortable afternoon and not worry about strategy. Now I want to point out that Colby's not playing some clever 4D chess reverse psychology strategy here. He's just being legit. He does not care. So everyone starts debating between James, who will try his hardest but is held back by a massive injury, or Colby, who seems to not care. At Tribal Council, as the villains get to watch, Rupert says these villains are teaching us heroes how to play this game. And again, would an arrogant person talk like this? So they all go to vote, and
James, tribe spoken.
Episode Several is amazing for their tribe as they win reward and immunity, and while on said reward, they decide this is it, us 5 will stick together to the end, and that is when they find yet another idol clue that says another idol is hidden in their camp. In episode 8, JT finds the idol and Rupert is so happy about this because JT tells him right away, which is all fine and dandy just as long as JT doesn't go rogue again. So we go to the reward challenge where the villains brought all of their camp supplies, which can mean only one thing, merge, baby.
Everybody drop your expectations. We are not merging.
Wow, nice burn, Jeff. The heroes win both reward and immunity, but more importantly is how with 3 men eliminated from the villain's tribe and no women, the heroes see clearly that Parvati has an all-women's alliance yet again. And it makes sense that they're thinking this considering how fresh Micronesia is in all their minds. Keep in mind, Micronesia had just aired 1 year before they filmed Heroes vs. Villains. And yeah, they're not thinking about Gabon and Tocantins, they're thinking about Micronesia. So in episode 9, they go to the reward challenge where
Rupert, what's the reaction to seeing its coach that is now gone from the game?
Cannot believe coach is gone. You know, but that women's alliance looks very strong. It's kind of obvious.
JT, obvious to you guys, it's a women's alliance.
I would have bet my life Russell or Coach 1 was going to be gone.
Coach is gone, and only Russell, the newbie unknown villain male, remains. I get it. I see it now. The women's alliance is real. During the reward challenge, Rupert tells Sandra he loves her, and she makes this face. I don't know how else to describe this face, but I am guessing the feeling is not mutual. Their tribe loses reward, and back at camp, JT has a plan. So crazy, so insane, it just might work.
I got a plan. Uh-oh. JT got a plan. Russell knows he's going next. I give him a hidden immunity idol. He votes out Parvati. Bam. Parvati's gone.
Then just pick the girls off.
Pick them off like sitting ducks and vote Russell's ass out 6th. You writing your letter to Russell, buddy?
Yep.
Russell, this is a huge turning point in this game. Just by competing against you and the few handshakes we've had, I feel like I can trust you. We will most likely merge at 10 people, and then you will be completely safe with us. Our 5 plus you will remain strong till the girls are done with.
This is your chance to show you're not a villain.
I'll put that at the end right here.
Good.
I think it's really crazy to give Russell the idol. You don't know what's going on over there. He could be in with the girls for all we know.
This is Survivor history. Oh my gosh.
If we win, I'm gonna try to give Russell my hidden immunity idol. Based on me guessing that he's on the outs, which I really feel like he is.
Or this is our chance.
That'll give us the numbers going into the merge.
Surely someone should say something, right? The logic is there, but I think the risk here is far too great. Go into the merge tied 5-5 and just use your idol at the first vote. That's the safe way of going about this. Giving it to Russell is a long shot, but if it works, it would be huge. Either way, it's happening. JT's decided, and no one tells him differently. Their tribe wins immunity, and JT gives Russell the idol. Rupert says Russell has to be beaming with excitement, and of course, who wouldn't be on cloud 9 after being gifted a free idol? But we move on to episode 10, where the merge does finally happen. Here we go, both tribes have 5 members, and since Russell survived the last vote and Courtney is gone, he will likely flip to them and give them the 6-4 lead that they want. But before we get into all the strategy, everyone is talking about what they should name their new tribe, and Jerry says, why not the All Villains?
So what are we calling ourselves? Can we decide?
We could be the Hillins.
We could be yin yang.
Winners.
Yeah.
Okay, we can do what?
The all villains.
All villains?
We're all villains.
Really, Jerry?
We're all winners. We're all all-stars. We're all something good and positive. Why do you have to keep the villain attitude? But I guess that's what villains do.
Rupert's amazing, and as I said before, a perfect choice for his tribe. Russell then talks with JT and Rupert about how he played the idol JT gave him, but he says when he did, he stood up and Parvati stood up at the exact same moment, like in sync, like they didn't know the other person was going to play an idol, which I gotta say sounds super dramatic and almost unrealistic. Why would Parvati do that if she was running an all women's alliance, like she had the numbers? Wouldn't Russell play his idol first and then she would play hers? Why would they stand up at the exact same time? The way Russell tells the story seems a bit too crazy, all things considered. He's hiding something. So Rupert finally connects with Sandra and...
You know how some people forgive but don't forget? Well, I don't forgive and I don't forget.
Courtney's the last person from my alliance. They didn't want me and Courtney over here together. Russell's the kingpin and Parvati's the second in command. You guys are done starting with the man. But whatever Russell says, agree to it, but he's lying if he says that the women are running the show.
Gotcha. Sandra just gave me some really good information. Russell told us that Poverty used her immunity idol last night. That is not true. Russell might be running the show. And if Sandra is true, and I have to believe Sandra, Russell is playing us. Boy, this is where the game gets crazy.
Holy crap, Russell has been playing them. Also, Rupert gives some of the best confessionals ever, but holy crap, Russell's been playing them? Rupert even catches the villains eating all their plantains and bananas before they turn yellow. And he says, I've had enough of this greedy tribe. So he talks to JT about what Sandra told him about Russell, and...
Poverty wouldn't be in this game if she didn't play her idol. No question asked.
I don't think so either.
Rupert. There's a reason that I've been doing Rupert's strategical play for him thus far. It's because he needs to be told where to vote by someone he can really trust and let that be done. So I just keep reminding him of that. Like, Rupert, think about this a minute. Do you believe what Sandra told you, or do you believe the obvious truth? I mean,
why is JT putting more faith into this unknown Russell person over the very much known Sandra? It doesn't make much sense since Sandra, sure, she was snarky and an anti-hero her first time around, but they know nothing about Russell. But what is even stranger is that at the immunity challenge, Parvati, the same one who should sense danger from being targeted by Russell, steps down and lets Danielle win. It's almost like she doesn't sense any danger at all. Rupert says, if she knows this, if she knows Russell's trying to get her and that he could flip, then why did she throw? That lying weasel Russell has to go. So they all go to tribal council to vote, and...
You know what, Jeff?
Sandra. That's for you.
Get out of here, for real?
Jerry, that one's for you too.
Damn it. Thanks, Jerry. Sandra, these are both hidden immunity idols. Any votes cast for Sandra or Jerry will not count. Jerry does 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 not count. JT. JT, that's 2 votes, JT. 11th person voted out and the 3rd member of our jury. JT. JT, Travis spoken.
I feel like a total idiot right now. This is probably one of the biggest moves in Survivor history, and it did not go in my favor.
Wow. JT's own idol got him out of the game. I mean, Rupert says, I tried warning the heroes and they didn't listen. Now Sandra is our only hope of making anything happen. Sandra then talks to Rupert and says, I agree, Russell, it needs to go. But apparently, this is according to Sandra, one of the heroes have pulled a Judas and betrayed them by aligning with Russell. Who? Well, we know it isn't Rupert. Jerry then wins immunity, and this is it. Crunch time. The heroes debate between Russell or Parvati, so Sandra talks to the heroes, and
Candace went and told Russell every single thing that was said, including that I was on board with Rupert, Amanda, and the rest of them, and now we're screwed and now they won't trust us anymore after this. Why are you switching now?
She's not.
I'm not switching.
Listen.
You're with us?
We're okay. Sandra, you're good. Candace is on our side. We're voting for Parvati.
You're gonna help me, Candace? Or am I screwed?
What do you mean to help you? What do you want me to do?
Are we gonna do this?
Yes.
Okay, so
Yeah,
it's
if this
gonna
thing
be...
doesn't work, it's Candace's fault.
No.
Oh, really? I mean, really, if it doesn't work, then Candace is the one that spilled the beans.
oh my gosh, Candace is the one who's betrayed them. She's the flipper, and for what? 30 pieces of silver? 6th place at best? Wow, she flipped to Russell out of all people. At Tribal Council, Russell even publicly drags Sandra multiple times by saying she contributes nothing to their alliance and is a goat to be dragged to the end. Mind you, he's not only talking smack about someone who won their season, she came 1 vote shy of a perfect game. Sandra isn't some goat, and the jury is seeing all of this. So they all go to vote, and
Hope I'm doing the right thing and playing it for myself this time.
First vote. Amanda. Parvati. Amanda. 2 votes, Amanda. Parvati. We're tied. 2 votes, Amanda. 2 votes, Parvati. Parvati. Amanda. Amanda. That's 4 votes, Amanda. 12th person voted out and the 4th member of our jury. Amanda. Amanda, the tribe has spoken.
yeah, Candace betrayed them. I mean, we figured this, but it just happened, and lied to their faces multiple times about it too. She's like, oh no, I'm not flipping. Rupert and Colby now realize they're all that's left of the heroes. Oh, how far the heroes tribe has fallen. Rupert even says this about Russell.
I think Russell is a deceitful person, and anything he says is a lie. He could be worse than Johnny Fairplay. He is. You've already proven yourself to be a disgusting, terrible human being to swear on your kid's life. I've played the game twice. People see I'm not that liar.
Do you think I care about how you are as a man?
I think you don't give a damn about anything
I don't
but
give a
yourself.
about you or your
I
family.
know. I don't think
Or
you
your
give a damn
family.
about anybody but yourself.
The great, powerful Rupert, the good guy.
You know,
the second coming of Christ.
You can say whatever you want.
You're such a dumbass, Rupert.
Wow, I mean, Rupert baited Russell, and it worked. Fairplay blew up all the time, but there's something about Russell's presentation that makes it look so much worse. Parvati then wins immunity, which has Jeff reading a clue to another idol hidden back at their camp. Since Rupert knows it's either him or Colby being voted off next from the heroes, he goes to look, but so does everyone else. It's a mad dash, and Rupert is unsuccessful in a search, so he comes up with an alternative plan.
Even though I don't have an idol, maybe I can play like I do. I stuck me a rock in my pocket, making it look a little dangly, little big. This isn't my first game of Survivor. I'm just trying to stay in it another day.
I have a lot of experience with idols. Rupert has a big bulky thing in his pocket. It's the idol wrapped up in the paper. Now we have to get rid of the idol. So how are we gonna do this?
Marissa, I think everybody pretty much gave up.
You found it. I see in his pocket. I know exactly how they look, and I know exactly how they look in the pocket.
Russell swears that Rupert found the idol. Of course I know that's a lie, because I have the freaking immunity idol. And if they think Rupert has it, that's good for Sandra. So I'm not gonna say nothing.
Outside of making social bonds, this might be Rupert's best game move ever, and seeing Russell fall for it while Sandra just says nothing is beautiful. Chef's kiss, no notes. This is an idea I am surprised has not happened before, and I would be surprised if no one tries to copy it in the future. Colby then talks to Rupert and has a brilliant strategy himself. Now, I like when these guys have their backs to the wall, because Colby's plan is that, hey, obviously they're gonna split their votes. 3 votes on you, Rupert, and 3 votes on me. Or they could be splitting their votes, 3 votes on you, Rupert, and 3 votes on Candace. And if the villains foolishly pick Candace, we should break that tie by voting for her as well. Brilliant. So at Tribal Council, they all go to vote, and
I can honestly say I'm proud of the way I played this game. Can you?
Mom always told me, if you don't have something nice to say, don't say anything at all.
Rupert. Candace. 1 vote Candace. Rupert. That's 2 votes Rupert. Candace. Rupert. That's 3 votes Rupert. Candace. That's 4 votes Candace. 13th person voted out and the 5th member of our jury. Candace. Candace, the tribe has spoken. Time for the go.
wow, the villains done screwed up. Colby and Rupert's plan worked so much better than JT's. I mean, they were both risks, but this one was a very smart risk. But now it is crunch time, and the old rock in a pocket trick isn't going to work a second time. So it is unfortunate when Russell wins immunity with Rupert in a close second place. Even Parvati says, yeah, Rupert's gotta go. But get this, Russell is not only a villain to the Heroes tribe, he is also a villain to the Villains tribe. I mean, we kind of got that when he's talking smack about Sandra, but he's trying to get them to turn on each other because he's feeling extremely jealous. So he comes up to Colby and Rupert and says, hey, tonight we're voting off Danielle DiLorenzo. And Rupert cannot believe his luck, and neither can I. So at Tribal Council, Russell again berates, but this time it's Danielle and not Sandra. Just an awful look for him in front of everyone. So they all go to vote, and
first vote, Rupert. Danielle. Rupert. 2 votes Rupert. Danielle. Rupert. 3 votes Rupert. Danielle. We're tied. 14th person voted out and the 6th member of our jury. Danielle. Danielle, Travis spoken.
It was a wonderful tribal council once again for me. Every day, my chances of winning this game get better and better.
I agree, Rupert, that was an excellent tribal for you. And now with us down to the final 6, I say he has a chance. It's a slim one, sure, but these villains are at each other's throats thanks to Russell. But now it is time for this season's loved ones visit, and just simply thinking about his wife has Rupert nearly in tears. I mean, he loves this woman. But then upon actually seeing Laura, who has now made 2 appearances on Survivor, mind you, because she was there in All Stars, he does cry, and as it turns out, today, of all days, is their anniversary. Jerry then wins reward and picks the women to come with her and leaves behind Rupert, Colby, and Russell. Russell takes this quite personally, even ignoring his own wife to plan revenge on Jerry. Rupert cries as he kisses Laura goodbye, and while I will not spoil future seasons of the show, just know Laura will be back again. But back at camp, Russell proposes a crazy idea.
I hope that burger literally tastes like $1 million, because that was $1 million decision.
Oh.
These girls are a bunch of unappreciative little bitches. Both of them. I want to trust you all the way to the final 3.
Russell, final 3.
Final 3.
Colby, final 3.
I got to think about winning this game. And Parvati is a huge threat for the $1 million. She's the only one that could give me a shot for it in my mind. So now, if Parvati doesn't win immunity, she's going home.
I mean, this is an absolutely stupid idea for Russell, as a final 3 with Colby and Rupert would certainly make him lose. But who is Rupert to tell him that? I wouldn't tell him that. Now, do you recall in season several when Rupert would stay up late into the night and either work or just stay up thinking? Well, apparently that's still taking place all these years later, as Rupert works late into the night here without any care or regard as to whether others are sleeping, and he's making a lot of noise. Jerry says, She doesn't think he's doing this on purpose. She just thinks he's dumb. But then, at the immunity challenge, Rupert comes in a close second again, and Parvati wins. Let's pray for a third miracle. He just needs an opportunity, and Rupert could survive. And here we go. Sandra talks to him and says, hey, I want Russell out. Now, mind you, Sandra keeps saying this and then she never votes with them. So, she keeps saying it, but he's not quite sure she's actually gonna do it. And she's never promised Rupert anything besides the fact that she wants Russell gone. So Rupert talks to the guy he did just make a deal with, Russell, and repeats to him what Sandra said, which has Russell approaching Sandra and being like, hey, are you with me or against me? And Sandra says, I'm against you, Russell. That's right. That iconic moment is because Rupert snitched on Sandra. Sandra says, okay, Rupert's a goner. So they all go to vote at tribal council, and
I'll write your name again, and if I'm up there in the final 3, you'll still give me the $1 million vote.
Should I let you finish?
No need. First vote. Rupert. Rupert. That's 2 votes, Rupert. Sandra. Does not count. Sandra. Does not count. 15th person voted out and the 7th member of our jury. Rupert. Rupert. The tribe has spoken.
I didn't see the hidden immunity idol. I thought maybe it could be out there. I know for a fact I won't write Sandra's name down again for another $1 million.
Honestly, that was Rupee's most balanced edit so far, and likely the one that portrays his good and bad the most fair, in my opinion. At this point, though, I am unsure how he can ever win Survivor without some sort of an immunity run, as no one will ever let him touch Final 3 just based on his social skills. Rupee is just too darn likable. So before he plays on Survivor again, let's make a quick detour, shall we? This is about 2 years later.
I'm Rupert Boneham, Libertarian candidate for governor of Indiana. And I want to say thank you to everyone out there that's helped me spread that word. I don't have the millions, I've got thousands to show. We don't have to buy the election, we can earn the election. I've been out there every day for the last year and a half, talking to people, seeing what's happening in our wonderful state of Indiana, and seeing there are so many of us out there struggling to figure out how we're going to have a better future. I'm standing up for all of us. It's our time to take back control. It's our time to be counted. It's our time for every one of us to have that voice. And we've got our word out there. We've got a few more days to let people know I'm running for governor, and I will stand up for all of us. Check out rupertforgovernor.com. Let me know you're out there. I am Rupert Boneham, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Rupert for Governor.
Simply, when you heard Libertarian, if you're American, you already know Rupert lost. But what is interesting is that he lost to Mike Pence, who would win this election and then go on to be the Vice President of America in 2016. But now, with an election lost, Rupee can play Survivor one more time about a year later on season 27, Blood versus Water.
39 days, 20 people, 1 Survivor.
Rupert is back in the Philippines, and hey, maybe he learned something from his time with the Israelis to succeed in this location. But we saw how that went, so probably not. And bigger news, this season's big twist is that former players are competing against their loved ones. That is right, this is Laura's 3rd appearance on Survivor, but this time, she's an official player.
Over the years, I've watched Laura become tougher and harder and stronger. We're both in better shape now. We're ready for this game. And every time I make it so close, but I'm that guy that just trusts a little too much.
Oh, and I also need to mention that Tina Weston is back from All Stars, and Candace, yes, Judas herself, is back from Heroes versus Villains. Everyone starts together with their loved ones on day 0, and they have to survive the night with just their loved one. AKA, this season's like actually 40 days, which is kind of cool. And Rupert says, for so long it's been about me, but this time I want it to be about Laura. The next day, everyone is on separate tribes from their loved ones, AKA, this is like Fans vs. Favorites 3. Unofficial, but it's like Fans vs. Favorites 3. Rupert is relieved he won't have to vote off his wife, but is also worried about not being able to protect her. Jeff then says, both tribes have to vote off someone on their own tribe right now. Wow. Rupert's tribe votes off Candace, ha ha, and the loved one's tribe votes off.
Hold your vote up. Laura, Rupert's wife. Culpepper. Laura. Laura. Hayden. Laura. Laura, that's it. You have enough. Take a spot over here next to me.
I love you. Watching my wife get voted out of her tribe about killed me. Why they would do that, it's a smack against me. That is every one of those little scared newbies saying, we've got to stop Rupert.
Rupert, very heroic. Love your wife. Do anything for your wife. If you want, you can prove it right now. And you can take her spot.
To put myself in a position where I am not safe is killing me. But I would rather have myself in this position than I would my wife. Laura deserves to play the game.
Wow, I never anticipated this.
I am with Tina. He should not have done that. But then he wouldn't be Rupert. Since All Stars, we have known how obsessed he is with Laura, and I mean, it's quite sweet. It's his wife. So now him and Candace get to live on Redemption Island together, where they will need to compete in challenges in hopes of getting back into the game. Candace says, believe it or not, living with Rupert is annoying since he is so lazy. All he does is sleep and swim. What? That doesn't sound like Rupert at all.
I am not going to do what I've done so many other times. One of the reasons why I've never won an immunity challenge is I kill myself out fishing. I kill myself out taking care of my tribe. This is more individual. And if I'm going to beat Candace, I need every ounce of energy I got.
Wow, he finally did it. He finally changed his strategy. Took him long enough. It makes sense considering how many challenges he's going to need to win to get back into the game. And on night 3, Marissa, aka Jervis's niece, shows up to Redemption, and Rupert is just glad that Laura is still safe. We then see a secret scene where he says, right now I feel like a team builder without a team. So here's hoping to Rupert getting back in the game. At the first Redemption Island duel of the season.
Candace is good. Take a spot behind your deck. Baby. We're now down to 2. Oh. Just like that, Rupert loses his entire staff. Marissa stays alive and joins Candace to continue on in her quest for $1 million. Rupert.
I can't believe it.
Regret the move you made?
Not at all. I have no regrets. This is a great game and I love Survivor, but I love my wife more. First one out of 27. I have to remember that I chose this, though. Even though my wife is looking a little beat up, she's looking solid. I might love Survivor, but I will love my wife a lot more. And I want to make sure that she's got the chance.
Well, he is gone so quickly. Thanks, Candace. You ruined his game again. But on a serious note, Laura ruined his game. And while she does make it to episode 7 before being voted off, she can't win a single challenge on Redemption to get back in. If Rupert had not swapped with Laura, I think Rupert makes post-merge again. The question is, could he finally reach Final 3? I don't know. But it still isn't over for Rupee, as 5 years later, he is back again on TV. Again with Laura. Yeah, with Laura again for The Amazing Race 31. By the way, this is an incredible season of the show, and I highly recommend watching it in full for yourselves, as it is a showdown between Survivor, Big Brother, and Amazing Race players. It's a twist I would love to see Survivor do itself, and they have to race around the world for $1 million. There are 11 teams in total, and one of them, of course, is Rupert and Laura. But let's hear from Rupert for his first time in 5 years on TV.
I have played Survivor 4 times and lost the game 4 times. We went into Survivor Blood versus Water thinking that we were going to finally play Survivor together.
Didn't happen that way.
This could be the time. Laura could be that charm.
We shall see if Laura is really the good luck charm or not, but based on Survivor, probably not. As always though, Rupert is 100% committed to the theme of the season as he tells Phil that survivors are the toughest and cannot be beat. Oh, Rupee. Now at that,
the world is waiting for you. Good luck. Travel safe. Go!
Their first task is to dig into this massive sand sculpture to get their first clue to their first location. That's a lot of firsts. Rupert and Laura find their clue in second place, and it says to fly to Tokyo, Japan. Oh boy, Rupee in a country that he doesn't know the language. I'm having flashbacks. So at the airport, Corinne and Eliza, notorious Survivor villains, make fun of everyone.
We're both pretty well-known villains on Survivor.
Right. Corinne has absolutely no filter. We're both totally single.
Yeah, we're not doing so hot in that area.
Nope.
But we don't have kids at home that we're like worried about.
Oh, my kids, I miss my babies.
I miss some of my like fancy shoes. That's about it.
There are definitely some teams that are really easy pickings. Victor and Nicole, we've nicknamed them Team Dumb.
Yeah. Rupert is really old.
He's got like this big pot belly.
Did you save your mayonnaise?
Like, he's not exactly Mr. Athletic. Rachel has raced to the final leg twice, but like with Brendan carrying her.
Really...
Her with Alyssa, good luck lips.
Rachel and Alyssa look like they lost a bet.
Those outfits are a lot.
You're going home.
Rupert isn't that fat, is he? Him and Laura arrive in Tokyo, and while the show kind of acts like they're struggling, I find it hard to believe because they get their next clue in first place. Here we go. Rupert is back. Their first roadblock, which is a task only one player can perform, is to bite into wooden shoes until they find a chocolate one. Yes, this is real, and Laura does it. Unfortunately, it takes them a long time to even find the roadblock, and they get out of the task in 9th place out of 11 teams. But then disaster strikes as they look for the next clue in the wrong part of the park. Like, if you look literally across the street, that's where they need to go, and it's just like they have blinders on, man. Instead, they're like looking in this rinky-dink dark place that requires flashlights. This isn't Survivor, dude. There's no idols to find. Just go to the brightly lit location. After 2 hours of searching, they finally find the roadblock and...
Why are Art and JJ still sitting there? And who are they waiting for?
Are they waiting for us?
I can't believe that.
Laura, we couldn't get up, so we took a penalty.
You took a penalty?
The penalty's 4 hours.
I was telling myself, you're gonna run up the darn thing. You're running up the thing. You're running up the thing. I was not gonna let a mountain beat me.
Come on, honey. Come on, honey.
Yes.
Oh, he got it on the first try.
It's over.
How did he do that?
It doesn't matter. It's over.
I'm pleased to tell you that you are team number 10. Rupert and Laura, you are still in this race. You will live to fight one more day.
Wow, they got lucky. Art and JJ not doing the task and having to take a penalty saved Rupert and Laura. Episode 2 sees everyone needing to fly to Laos, and when Rupert and Laura reach the airport...
We're still here. We are shocked.
Thrilled! If you can't tell, we're thrilled. We spent 4 hours in that park running around looking for a hidden immunity idol, not a damn clue box.
Yeah, buddy, get it together. Everyone leaves on the same flight, and in Laos, him and Laura take a tuk-tuk to the monastery that they have to go to, where, while they're in it, Corinne and Eliza are in front of the tuk-tuk being jerks by blocking it. Once a villain, always a villain, I guess. They then get a clue that takes them to the U-turn board that thankfully does not see Rupert and Laura U-turn, because if they did, they'd have been done for. They're not a threat. So at the detour, they get a choice and they choose to do the Laos ABCs. Rupert says, oh, I thought this would be easier, but as it turns out, it has absolutely no similarities to the American ABCs that I know. They escape the detour in 7th place out of 10 teams, and their last roadblock for this leg is to ride an elephant across a river to get a clue. It sounds super easy. So when Rupert rides said elephant...
Please, God, please. This is insanity, thinking that I can control this elephant. It does what it wants. Hey, come on. We didn't come here to lose.
He loves elephants. I don't think he loves that elephant.
Please, baby, please. Yes, I love elephants. Everybody's passing us. We're in last place. Elephants have been my spirit guide for my life. You are killing me. They represent that strength that I've always wanted. I can't end on an elephant. I love you too much.
Rupert and Laura, very sorry to tell you that you're the last team to arrive. Unfortunately, you've been eliminated from the race.
The Amazing Race is just one small adventure in the big, broad spectrum of our lives. We've been married almost 21 years.
Been friends for 25. Hopefully, we got another 25 years of adventures ahead of us.
I think it's safe to say that Laura teamed up with Rupert is not a good luck charm. But who knew the legend of Rupert would grow at the last minute by learning about his deep love for elephants? So what do you think about Rupert Boneham? Do you want to see him play again? Would he actually improve if he got one more shot on Survivor without Laura? Let me know down in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and doubly thanks for liking and subscribing. I'll see you all next time.